Family, welcome to the channel. Kick your shoes off on the way in. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the hype button if that option is available. Listen, I was hanging out with my buddy Keith a couple days ago, and we're off the Bob Marley. So we're feeling good. And I come home, and there's this box of cherries on the kitchen counter. My wife told me, her family, they have they grow a lot of food, and so they had a bunch of these cherries, and she said she was gonna, take the cherry pitter, get all the pits out, and make a pie. But there's way too many cherries for her to use all of them for this pie. So I'm just scarfing down cherries, munchie style. You know what I mean? I had to take out a pound of these cherries. So the next morning I wake up and my wife is already out of bed, and I go to the kitchen and the cherries are all gone. And I say, hey, what happened to those cherries that were sitting here? She said, oh no, there was worms in all of them. She said she started pitting them and she found worms and all, so she just threw the whole box away. They were all full of worms. Guys, I don't know how many worms I've eaten. Probably at least a couple of hundred of them. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, I was scarfing these down in the middle of the night last night. I had the munchies. I went crazy on those. She's like, hey, good source of protein. Nevertheless, family, we're getting into Incubus. The song is Dig. And without any further ado, why not just go ahead and let him cook? Please cook, sir. Talk to me.
Some of ours are easy to identify. Look me in the eye and ask for forgiveness, or make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend.
First of all, his voice is very, very easy on the ears. There's a transparency and an honesty about the way he sings, and I really appreciate that, first of all. But when we're looking at the lyrics, they're asking us to kind of be vulnerable again. It's like we all have a weakness, but some of ours are easy to identify. Ouch, right? I mean, we've seen people who are severely in the throes of an addiction, right? To where, they're at the stage where they can no longer hide it. But just because you have the ability to hide it, sometimes we mistake that ability to hide it with not actually having the problem. He's saying, look, all of us have weaknesses. Some of us have not yet reached the stage where it's impossible to hide it anymore, right? And so, he says, ask for forgiveness. We'll make a pact to never speak that word again. Family, it seems like just these opening lines, we are in desperate need of more of this in our current time. Am I wrong?
Again.
No, I need that transition one more time, buddy. Please cook.
We'll make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend. We all have something that digs at us. At least we dig each other. So when weakness turns my ego up, I know you count on me from yesterday.
What powerful words, man. The lyricism is so on point here. When weakness turns my ego up, I'm depending on you to remember the me from yesterday. Don't assume that I am the flaws. But that's a big temptation, right? Because if I see a flaw in you, then, that's the part I want to remember, right? Because, what if you do that again? I have to watch out. I have to watch out for you in the future. But he says, let's make a pact. You ask for forgiveness with sincerity while looking me in the eye, and we'll make a pact to never bring it up again. I'm going to look at your best possible self and not the worst possible examples you've given me in the past. That's powerful.
So when weakness turns my ego up, I know you count on me from yesterday. If I turn into another, you dig me up from under what is covering the better part of me.
Ooh, that's fire, baby. Guys, it reminds me of when John Mayer said, "I'm misunderstood, but I know the heart of life is good." This seems like you have to kind of have a faith in the goodness of life in order to really vibe with this song. I mean, do you believe that even your enemies at the end of the day are just trying their best in their own kind of misguided ways to establish wholeness? It seems like we're getting away from that. We're under the hermeneutics of suspicion, where we're suspicious about everything and everyone. But he's saying, like, look, do we have the ability to see past the flaws and to recognize the humanity that's underneath? Man, that's powerful to me. Wow. The art in this music video is phenomenal. Look at that heart. That's just shot through with arrows and nails, and there's a pair of scissors sticking out, and there's a sword, right? There's a really, really abused heart there. I'm gonna let him cook. The sickness cleverly attaches and multiplies. Wow. I think he's talking about the reciprocal narrowing process, right? Say I have a problem with drinking, right? That problem attaches to me. And then when it attaches to me, my friends abandon me because they don't put up with it, at least most of them, right? And then being abandoned makes me want to turn to the alcohol more. And then if I turn to that more, then I can't hide the flaws anymore. And then you people around me have to put up with more to be around me. And so I have to sacrifice more relationships. And that makes me want to turn to the alcohol again. You see the negative feedback loop? It multiplies, right? Salute to the lyricism. Multiplies, no matter how we try. We all have someone that digs at us. Other. So when sickness turns my ego up, I know you'll act as a clever medicine. Do you hear this? He says, I know you'll act as a clever medicine. He's putting the hope in you first. Guys, this is an important tool for those of us who have loved ones, which is hopefully everyone, right? It's an important thing to tell them. It's like, hey, you know, when my ego pops up, you know, when I puff up, when I'm a prideful person, or, you know, whatever flaws get exposed to you, I'm depending on you to be, you know, someone who recognizes that the real me is still underneath, that you know, that flaw is just an obfuscation, right? Right? And I think the people around you, if you tell them this, they'll appreciate having that sense of responsibility, right? If you tell people that and that you're counting on them for that. Salute. Yeah, we definitely need this message. And something that I want to say, I'm going to wait to the end. Guys, listen to the end. I have something to say about this. I know you act as a clever medicine. If I turn into another, dig me up from under what is covering the better part of me. Sing this song. Remind me that we'll always have each other. While everything else is gone, oh, each other. While everything else is gone. We'll have each other when everything else is gone, right? I'm going to say it, right? when the political fighting is over, will we still have each other? When one candidate wins and the other candidate, I mean, think about this. Have we lost track of the difference between what we are and what we have? And I talk about modal confusion sometimes on this channel, where we kind of lose track of what we are and we identify with what we have, such that we make enemies of the people who don't have what we have. It's like, oh, I have this relationship with this set of values, and you don't have that same relationship with these values. And so you're over there and I'm over here, and you can't count on me anymore, right? This is saying, look, we need to make this pact with one another so that when everything, exposes itself to be transient, we'll still have each other at the end of it. This is a pertinent message for today. Talk to me in the comments. Guys, who is this? Who's the lead singer of Incubus? I should consult the Oracle right now, but I'm going to depend on you guys. Who is the lead singer of Incubus? Because he's special. And I'm going to talk to you about why at the end. So listen, there's something I want to say, and this is not what I had to say at the end, but it seems important to me to let you know that, guys, this sometimes is very difficult, because there's what this song kind of makes me feel in the moment is that I have a responsibility to reach out to people who are flawed in ways that I don't necessarily want to put up with. And some of that is strategy. Some of it is laziness. I like a smooth relationship with my friends. I don't necessarily like a bunch of, I can handle conflict, but it's like, when someone just has, especially people who spend all their time venting or, hatred of this or that group, I don't have a lot of time for that. So there's a part of me, there's a part of this song that makes me feel like I should be doing a better job at reaching out to people and trying to dig, right? Digging into what's underneath their flaws and exposing the real person. But at the same time, guys, hanging around certain people can cause you to normalize their way of thinking. And I don't necessarily want to normalize a toxic way of thinking. Help me in the comments if you've been able to resolve the conflict or if you understand what I'm saying there. Respectfully. Family, I've never heard, this is my first Incubus song, and I will say this is my favorite Incubus song out of all the ones that I've heard, including this one. Being the only Incubus song that I've ever heard, this one definitely takes the entire cake on the Incubus, records. But something that I wanted to say, right? And I didn't want to say it in the middle of the song because sometimes when I say that, you guys have seen it on this channel, the whole, trajectory of the music will change and I will put my foot in my mouth. But I want to say that sonically, it's so important to have the music assisting you in the job of getting your point across. I've heard a lot of bands on this channel, a lot of songs, Incubus, Tool, and, Sleep Token. And listen, I don't want to say it about Incubus. It's my first Incubus track, but it seems that at least this song, they have perfected the art of making the sound match the message. You know what I mean by that? Family, thank you so much for being here with me, for taking my first Incubus journey. What's next from Incubus? Family, like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the hype button if that button is available. Join us on the Patreon. If you want to recommend a song, then the PayPal is in the description below. Please help support the channel. Keep us going. Family, salute. Love you. See you next time.